Hello, hello, welcome here, everybody. I'm very excited to have you all here. I'm very excited for tonight because we have something I think is really special going to happen tonight. And so I am glad you are here. Feel free to turn on your cameras. I love seeing your faces. I love having you all on here. And nice big smile, Shelly. I love it. Saw that. I saw that. I love our Tuesdays and I'm very excited. So, Rachel, if you're ready, I figured we would start off right away with Rachel. She's doing product highlight tonight for us. I have no idea what product she's doing. I literally asked her, I said, share something that you feel has impacted your life or your family's life. And so I'm excited to hear what you came up with tonight.
Okay, fun. Well, I decided to share the product that everybody in my family has used, and that is BioCleanse, because I think it is one of the most underappreciated products. um, with my family, I'm serious. My 4 kids, my husband and I take it regularly. My 4 kids, anytime they are constipated, anytime they have tummy troubles, if they can't sleep, if we're having trouble being calm, like I could go on and on. Every time I'm like, all right, here we go, BioCleanse. And I love it because like my older ones can swallow it, but my younger ones, we put it in water or we put it in yogurt. And it's just one of those you can kind of get an immediate result, right? Like I feel like we've cleared out a lot of potential childhood medications you would keep in a cabinet with just BioCleanse. So I'm going to share a little bit about why it's so good, but I just wanted to start by sharing the value, like because we get a lot in a bottle. You probably have people say to you, oh, it's too much, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, this is the most amazing product you can share with anybody and see some instant results. So it's so valuable. Like I said, I have literally given it to every child in my house, and one of mine takes it regularly. So if that is something you have been undervaluing or you feel your customers have, it is amazing. And I'm going to tell you why. So we know about magnesium, right? That magnesium, flushing your system, like that's our basic understanding. At least that was mine. And I know it's oxygenated magnesium and that's good for you. But I was looking into it a little bit more. And it's that and I'm not going to go super crazy in depth. There's so much good information. But just know that when you have that oxygen added in, it makes it really difficult for like viruses and bacteria to live. It creates this environment they cannot live. So we are not just flushing out, we're actually like detoxifying and cleansing at a way deeper level, like when that oxygen actually gets into your bloodstream. And so I did look up a few other uses. I shared all the things my family uses it for. But also it supports the weight loss. It supports collagen, just like neutralizing the acidic conditions. That's like the official thing. But basically it's just this oxygen being released, like how they have built BioCleanse for us. And yes, the magnesium brings water into your intestines, it flushes it out, but then getting this oxygen, this is huge. So if you ever have somebody say, oh, my system is going well, be like, no, no, you need way more than just your system moving well, right? You need all the benefits of this oxygenated magnesium going into it. So I just wanted to encourage you with that. And if you really love all the details, I found this great article on boards, way more detail than I want to go into here. But if you like that, there's so much good information. And I just want to say again, I don't know, because I started off fast with the things for my kids. Literally, like if you have, like when your kids, I was looking up calm supplements, basically, right? When they're just agitated, having trouble sleeping, everything has magnesium. And I found it to be so true when I started adding this in for my kids. Like calm, like we have the best magnesium, right? And tummy, seriously, bloating, gas, like they get that. So just to say, this is such a versatile and powerful supplement that we have. So I hope this helps you use it for you and your family, but also anybody else that you know. It is great. It's one of my favorites.
Oh man, thank you, Rachel. That was so good. And I agree. BioCleanse is underrated. It's not talked about enough. And I do think that society's talking more about magnesium now, or maybe that's just my algorithm showing to me more. But I hear it being spoken of more lately, and which I think is such a good thing. And I think the more it's being spoken of, the more we need to talk about it because we can show people what we have, the value of what we have. Like it's so good. Everybody in my house has taken it too. And I love it so much. So next, I want to talk a little bit about a topic that has been floating around a little bit and it keeps coming back to my ears. And I just felt like this needed to be talked about more. So what I want to share about is commitment versus non-commitment. And I'm going to take a half a second to mute myself because I need to sneeze. I'm sorry, it is gone now. I have sneezed so much in the last few days, and so I did not want you all to have to hear that. But I'm glad it's gone. It's gone. Okay, so commitment versus non-commitment. Being all in 110%, no matter what it takes, or heeing and hawing. And I feel like this can be us in many very different areas of our lives. So expand your mind to not just plexus, but all areas. Because basically anything that we learn in personal growth relates to every area of your life. Your non-commitment, and this line blew my mind, your non-commitment is a commitment in itself. When you are not committing, you are technically committing. When you hee and haw, you are actually making a decision. You're making a decision that says, no, I do not want to be successful in whatever it is that you're heeing and hawing about. Because in order for you to succeed, you have to be committed and you have to go all in and you have to have goals set and have an action-oriented plan. So if you are not committed, you do not have a goal, you do not have a plan, you are actually committing to failure. And it's kind of hard to hear that because when we're heeing and hawing, we're like, well, I just haven't made a decision yet. I just haven't done this yet. No, you're actually making a decision already. It's just like saying nothing is saying something. In an argument, if you don't say anything at all, you are saying something. So you not committing is committing. So when you commit, that is no matter how long it takes or how much you have to learn or how much you have to grow, you have a plan. You are in it for the long haul. You are there 100%. I think of it like marriage, right? When you get married and you stand up there and you say, I am committed to you for life. Are you committed just until your first argument or until you have health issues or until you have financial struggles? Or are you committed? We're going to figure this out no matter what it takes. Those are the two, committed or not committed. So most of society, let's put it that way, most of society gets nowhere in their pursuits or in their goals because they simply do not commit to where we want those pursuits or goals to go. The true question is not what are you going to commit to? It's more so what would you regret the most not having committed to? So if you really sit and think about it, it's like, it's not, I'm going to commit to plexus. It's what will I regret not having committed to? What will I regret not having given 100% with a plan and action-oriented steps and saying, yes, I'm all in, I'm doing this no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes. So often, and this is me 100%, we are very much stuck and limited by our own pre-existing patterns. They get in the way of our goals and plans because this is just how we've always done it. It's kind of like those old-fashioned beliefs. This is just always how we've done it. And for all the Mennonites on here, you know that line. It gets said a lot. And I see some smiles because I know you know. This is just how we've always done it. That's how they say it in Low German. That is a very common thing among the Mennonites. They stick to their traditions because this is how we've always done it. But if it's not serving you, Is it what you need? Is it really what you need? What if these thoughts and patterns and actions are not serving you? You change them, right? So true commitment stems actually from knowing what you would like to see completed in your life. So if you think about your life, and if you think about the end of your life, we all think about living a long, good life. What do you think of seeing for yourself of your life? When you come to the end, what would you truly want to have completed? And I had to think about this a little bit. And I want you to think about this for the next little bit, okay? Because most non-commitment is actually underlined with the fear of failure. Because when we don't commit, we know we're going to fail, or we know we're not going to succeed, but we're used to that. So that is, in a sense, security, like mom said. It's wanting to have control over our circumstances. Because when you do commit, at some level, you know that if you fail, you'll have nobody to hide from, lie to, or even blame. You only end up with excuses. And that's scary. And your ego wants to protect you from that. Your ego says, that doesn't sound like fun. Doesn't sound like fun at all. Because we're scared of failing. But ultimately, if you don't commit, you are essentially failing because you're not succeeding. It's all in our mind. It's a mental thing. It's 100% a mental thing. So rather than asking yourself, what am I willing to succeed at? Instead, turn it around and say, what am I willing to fail at until I get it? What am I willing to mess up over and over and over and over again until I get it? What am I willing to commit to, knowing that no matter what it takes, I'm going to stick through it until the end? And I feel like this needs some thought, right? Because it is it's almost like a question that needs a little bit of journaling time to just sit down and really hash out your thoughts. Because we can sit here and be like, well, just give a quick answer. But if I really truly sit down and I really truly think about what I'm willing to fail at, I don't think I have a lot that I'm willing to fail at. And I think that needs from me a bit of a mindset adjustment. I feel like a lot of us probably, like looking at most of us, probably came into Plexus with zero desire or expectation of building a business, of having this grow somewhere. I feel like most people come in with health desires, with health needs, which is very common. But we fall in love with this company and we catch the vision and we see what this could be. Or maybe you're still heeing and hawing a little bit and you haven't drawn your line in the sand yet and you haven't fully committed and you're not fully in yet. And that's okay. It's a part of the journey. It really is. And it's a part of the process because the journey of heeing and hawing and deciding, it becomes a part of your story and a part of where you're going to go. And that's not a bad thing. Now, Plexus doesn't have to be your vision at the end when you're thinking about it, but it can be your vehicle. And I think this is super, super key for myself. I never, ever dreamed of being network marketing. I didn't even know what it was. But I had other dreams. I had dreams of being debt-free. I had dreams of having an acreage. I had dreams of one day when me and my husband are old and gray, we'll sit on our front porch in our rocking chairs and watch our grandkids run around. Like I have those kinds of dreams. And those kinds of dreams all need funding. Dreams need funding. My husband has dreams of doing all sorts of things. Those things need time and funding. I want to be available for my kids as they grow. I want to build memories and I want to go places and see things with them. That needs funding. I have fallen in love with network marketing over the years, but that wasn't my original dream. My original dream was the life that we could create being funded by Plexus. Where else can you make more than a brain surgeon with a baby on your lap? Nowhere. You can't. Is not, you can't. You just can't. In order to do that, in majority of places, it takes extreme family sacrifice. And for anyone that is family oriented, which I feel like most women that come into Plexus are very family oriented, this is the one place you can fund your dreams while still being family oriented. You get the best of both worlds. But in order for that to happen, we have to draw our line in the sand. We have to decide, am I in or am I not? Because by not committing, we are not, by not committing, we are making a commitment. We're making a commitment to say that I'm not giving it my all. I'm not going to be whatever it is you want to be. I'm not going to be an emerald. I'm not going to be a diamond. I'm not going to be a senior ruby by not committing. By if you want this to be a hobby, that's great. Run with that and own it. But if you are wanting to hit a rank and you all want to be there, then commit. Decide why you're here and commit. Because otherwise you are only going to have a hobby and you're not going to succeed. Because in order to have that goal and reach that goal, you've got to be all in. You've got to decide if it means I have to get out of my comfort zone, if it means I have to do uncomfortable things and try new things and do things that I never thought I was going to do and be willing to do them, even if it feels absolutely icky sometimes, but you know that on the other end, it's going to be a win. That's where you're at. And I thought about this to myself. I was like, and how many areas of my life have I been not making a commitment? And I have to think about it some more yet. It's been going through my head all day today, but I'm sure there's more areas where I need to sit down and actually commit to my own growth or to my certain relationships, whatever it may be. So I felt like a topic like this needed some people to expound on. So first, I'm going to share my line in the sand moment, and then I've asked 3 ladies to share their line in the sand moment. And I remember mine very clearly, like so extremely clearly. We were still living here in Lacrete before we moved to Edmonton, me, my husband, and Chloe was a baby. I don't know how old she was. When we moved to the city, she was 11 months old. So it was before that. And I remember my mat leave in Canada, you get 1 year mat leave. My mat leave was coming to an end. I had worked at the bank before she was born. And so I had maternity leave and it was coming to an end. Financially, there was no way, absolutely no way we could live only on my husband's income. It was not even possible. And I remember standing in her room. She was sleeping in her crib. I had had my mother-in-law paint her room. It had gray and white stripes, and she had it was modeled after the book. Oh, it's that Robert Munsch story about rocking your baby. It's like the sweetest story in the world. I see all your faces lighting up. Yes, I adore that book. That book that makes me cry at the time, every time I read it to my kids. I'll love you forever. That book. Yep. That's what the room looked like. And I was standing over her big white crib and she was sleeping. And I was crying over her because I so badly wanted to be at home with her all the time. I would now felt like I would have to go back to the bank which I didn't want. And I would have to leave her with a sitter, which I so didn't want. That, like, I just didn't want that. I wanted to be at home. And I think it must have been the day before. I don't know if mom remembers this better than I do, but she was like, Sheila, you know what you have in your hands, right? You know what you're holding here. You have an opportunity to make this business happen for your family. And so I was standing over her crib, contemplating all of this. What if I did it? What if I gave my all? What if I said, okay, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes, what if? Well, what if I don't? What then? If I don't, our reality isn't going to change. We are still going to live less than paycheck to paycheck. We're still going to have all this financial stress that is stressing our marriage. But what if I take this risk that I think is a risk and I just go for it? And in that moment, I decided, let's do it. And I from that decision on, I was all in, 100%. And over the years, as times got hard, because like mom said in the comments, growth is never easy. It's never comfortable. It really isn't. And I've gone through some very challenging growth times. Over the years when things got hard and I would be sitting at the kitchen table crying because half my team left, or I got bashed somewhere, or everything's falling apart, or all the things. My husband would look at me and he's like, if this is so hard, why don't you just quit? Because in his defense, he hated seeing me hurt. He didn't want that. I would get so mad. I would get so mad at him because I had drawn my line in the sand. I had said, I am all in. I am 100% committed. I told him, even if this takes me 10 years to hit Emerald, it'll be worth it. And I was right. I was right. But that drawing my line in the sand changed something in my mind. It made me go, it's all worth it, no matter how long it takes. My belief in Plexus was solid. My belief in the products was solid. I just had to find that belief in myself. I didn't have that yet. And that took me some time. But I was all in. Now, he will say, 100% worth it. I'm so glad Sheila didn't give up. I'm so glad that she had drawn her line in the sand, because if I hadn't, we wouldn't be where we are today. Just 100% not. None of it would be where we are today. That moment was pivotal in our lives. That moment changed everything. And my Chloe is now turning 10 in September, which is crazy. If you think about it, 5 years goes by really fast. 10 years, I feel like the older I get, it just goes faster. And it just, like, no, we can slow down now. I wanted it to speed up when I was a teenager, not anymore, okay? Like, and so if you think about yourself in 5 years, where do you want to be? What would you regret not having done? There's a lot of things I could have done that would have gotten me to my goal sooner, but they were part of my growth too, is learning those things. Your journey is important. So what will you have regretted not doing, not committing to, not having a goal for or planning in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, at the end of your life? And so I have 3 ladies that have graciously agreed to share tonight, and I'm very excited for this. I'm very proud of them for being willing to share. And we're going to have Lena go first because she requested to go first. And so, of course, I have to honor that. And she and I had a good discussion about this today. And she's popped up about this topic in our chat a couple times over the last little while. And she's actually the reason why I was like, we need to talk about this, because I've been seeing so much growth in her lately, and I'm really proud of her. So, Lena, if you could share a little bit exactly what you said to me today, it was just so good. It was so good.
Hi, everyone. How am I supposed to follow with everything you just said? I feel like everything you said has been like either a thought, a feeling, or but anyways, so I want to kind of talk about like why I decided to join Plexus again. Um, well, first of all, the products, they are amazing and they work. And for anybody that doesn't know, be consistent for a while and you will see. And um and it comes with like such a great business opportunity, like no other company. I feel like I don't know, but I've never heard of this before. And I want to share more because I want more people to see that like it is possible. Like you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And the way everything is in today's world, it just like it is impossible to make a living, get out of debt. And trust me, like I'm speaking from experience with a one income, and the way everything is, how expensive everything is getting, and it is impossible to get anywhere. And that is like a big reason why I want to continue doing this. It's because I want other people to see that too. I know people that are struggling so much in their health and their finances, and like they're equally important, I believe, because if you're always stressing about money and how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that, like oh like we're starting a family, we have a 2.5-year-old and another one on the way, and like I don't like me and my husband, we both don't want, and we talk about this a lot, we don't want him to, or our kids, them I should say, well one isn't here yet but soon, um we don't want them to have the same struggles as us, like to just always stress about finances and not knowing how we're gonna get out of the situation that we're in. And I know that there's other people that feel the same way. And that is a big reason why I want to share more about the business. Because I see that there is a lot of people that are making this their full-time income. And I know that it can be for everyone. Like they were once exactly where we were, not knowing, well, like Sheila just said, like standing in your baby's room and not knowing like what now. Like I know that feeling so well. Maternity leave is ending. Like what now? Like we are already using every last penny that we're getting from that. And then later you get taxed on that yet. Like it is not easy. Um and yeah, I want more people to know that it doesn't have to be like that. So by me saying this out loud, it is an accountability, um, to share more consistently about this and make sure that other people know what we have. The products are amazing. There simply would not be a business, like there wouldn't be so many successful people if we didn't have the products that we do in Plexus. So, um, yeah, another thing, like my husband, he works his butt off. Like he does not take days off, like unless it is an emergency or an ultrasound. He will not take days off. Like just a couple of weeks ago, he got hit in the eye with a socket, like hard. Like how his eye did not break is beyond me. it went right through his glasses. And he calls me and he's like, don't freak out, but I'm in the hospital. And I was like, oh no, like, and he told me what happened and he sent me a picture and I'm like, you're coming home for the rest of the day, aren't you? And he's like, well, no, I'm gonna go back to work. Like the guy just he doesn't give up and he will not take time off because he's all about supporting his family, which I'm very, very grateful for. And he's a big reason why, hopefully my phone's not shaking too much. I should have set up my iPad, but he's a big reason why I want to do this too, to help him take the load off as well. And yeah, like it's like we're in this together. He is very supportive of me doing Plexus. He has never made like a comment on how, oh, like you're ordering again or this or that. Like, and I'm like, money's tight and like he's supportive. And I feel like it is like I want to help him ease that stress too. So yeah, that is kind of my reason. Well, not kind of, that is my reason behind all this. And I don't want to wake up one day when I'm 80 and think back like, oh, I knew this in my early 20s already. Like I knew about Plexus in 2016. I loved the products. But it was just not the right timing. I quit and I gave up. And well, even then, I remember talking to my brother. I'm like, people are making amazing money with doing Plexus. Like, I could do that. But the belief in myself just wasn't there at the time. And that is really growing. And I have a lot of people to thank for that. And a lot of people on here, Sheila being one of them. And yeah, so like I knew the vision then already, and it's been, well, 2016. That was what, 8 years ago? And I am finally now at the point like, hey, like time is going by really fast, way faster than I thought it would. And we're still debating on if we're going to do this or not. No, no, we're going to do this. And we want more people to know about this. And we want more people to do this with us. So yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, Lena. That was so good. And I've watched you walk through this mental journey of like, am I in? Am I not? Am I going to do this? Am I not? And then finding that belief in yourself and looking for that belief in yourself. You are going to do this. You have so many gifts and talents and value to bring to the world that the world is waiting for. I'm so excited for you. Eeny, miny, mo, who wants to go next? Tiara, do you want to go next?
My computer is having issues, so it took a while to unmute. But my story goes back a couple years. I think this is my 3rd year with Plexus, and I started just for the products. That's all I wanted. And I remember telling people I would never sell it. Like I had done it before. I was done with that. It didn't work for me. And that was just end of the conversation. And then well, it was quite a few months in of taking Plexus, and I had this feeling that I needed to do more with this because it was helping me so much. I knew there were people out there struggling with the same things that I was, and what? Go watch. And where was I? Oh, and I just had this constant nagging that I had to start doing more with this. And I remember it was about a year after starting Plexus. I remember where I was standing. I remember where my husband was standing when I said, I think I'm gonna start sharing about this, and just until I get my products paid for. That's it. And he's like, okay, give her, go ahead. And so I did, but that happened pretty quickly. And that is when I saw the potential of what this could do, not just for us, but also for other people. So I started sharing longer. I started sharing with more people, and my income obviously grew then. And then I started seeing even more potential of what this could do and seeing what this was doing for other people. And the biggest thing that has kept me going is knowing that it is possible, number one, that I can do it, and bringing my husband home from the bush, the logging industry, which keeps him away 5 out of 7 days of the week during the winter. And especially with our kids getting older, Nash is 6, Noah is 3, they are really starting to notice when their dad is gone, and they cry every night when he's gone. Now he's home during the summer, but during the winter, there was a lot of tears. And just wait. Okay, you go a little bit. And so that is kind of where I stand with, like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, God has shown me this time and time again. This is where I need to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I can see the potential, and I can see our future with Mark being home year round and not just during the summer. So that is basically a very quick story, but my line in the sand is just wanting my husband to be home and doing things together, living our life together, and not trading his time away for money. And so that is my story, and I can't wait to have him home because I know it's going to happen.
Thank you, Tiara. Yes, it is going to happen. I believe that fully for you, 100%. This is where Plexus gets to be the vehicle for you to achieve those lifelong goals and dreams that you have, those things that you would regret never having had. I mean, I thought about it so often. If I work really hard for a few years to achieve what majority of people don't achieve in a lifetime, working 9 to 5, only to retire when they're old. No, I wanted so much more than that for our family. And if I think back to when Tiara started, that was at the lowest time of my life, sadly. And I was not doing good at that time. I remember Tiara signing up, and I felt like I didn't give her all of the support that I could have. I truly felt like I had let her down because I wasn't all there. I was pretty sick, to be honest. But I feel like that's such a good example of when the right people come along, it doesn't matter what you do or you don't do. Obviously, my goal is always to give the best customer service and care I possibly can. But when the right people come along and see what Plexus has, they are going to become lifers. And they are going to be in it for life, like Tiara is. And I see this 100%. She will be a diamond. That's just a guarantee. Paige, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that you were willing to share. Paige is always so willing. She's the sweetest.
I feel like that mine is so different. So buckle up. I so I started the products, right? Like many of us. And I remember thinking, ooh, I'm gonna get my products paid for. And I started doing that, and then earning incentives. And I thought, this is like so fun. I'm totally in it for the incentives. I love it. I love winning things. It was filling my bucket. And then I remember going to Leaders Retreat, and I remember exactly, I don't remember the hotel, but it was really nice. And we were at Leaders Retreat. We were in the basement ballroom, and I had been perhaps, I don't know why I'm emotional. I am though. I had been perhaps riding the coattails or the energy of someone else's hope for too long. And I saw one version of success, and I didn't like it. It didn't align with what I like. It was at that point I had kind of gone and I had talked to, I thought I'm going to be a big girl and I'm going to be so brave and I'm going to go talk to Andrea Mitchell. And I walked up and I said, hey, I follow you on Instagram. I like your style. And that's how I met Andrea Mitchell. And then I went up to Emily Gibson and I said, hey, do you feel like a celebrity here? And she goes, Paige. Well, she didn't say Paige. She didn't know my name at the time, but she was like, I poop every day and nobody knows my name when I'm grocery shopping. And I thought, okay, well, I can do this. And then at that moment, I saw this certain version of success, or what I thought was like success in this industry. And it didn't align with what I saw over here, like the Andrea Mitchells, and of course I'm going to blank on all of the diamonds, but you know who they are. We all follow them. And I saw this other version over here and I thought, no, like I really love what I'm seeing over here. This aligns with who I am. And at that point, I thought about who I was in this business. Like, what are you doing? So anyway, so we're standing in this ballroom and I remember thinking, Paige, what are you doing? Like, and it was like, I gave myself kind of a stern talking to, like, are you like, you can't just earn, I mean, you can, but you can't just live in the incentives. If you're going to succeed, you cannot just live here. And at that point, I remember thinking, I know my values, I know what I believe, I know who I was created to be, and that needs to be reflected in the way that I do business and the way I show up. And it needs to be me. I cannot ride on someone else's energy and I couldn't ride on anyone else's hope for me or anything. And it took a little bit of belief building in myself. Like it took probably longer than I had hoped for or even anticipated. I didn't think it would take so long to work on myself, right? We always have these like, okay, self, like, have you learned it yet? You know, and when the answer is no, it's like, fine, like, here we go again, right? But it's, anyway, so it took some time for me to believe in me. And there are days when, you know, I don't believe in me as much as I should. And I'm sure we all kind of cycle through these things, but I thought, no, like as a good woman, I feel this pull, this call, this duty, obligation to be that example. Like, yes, in like everything that I embody, right? Like all my actions, all my thoughts, everything, business, everything, like everything in life, right? Just needs to align. And so that was the day that I drew the line in the sand and I thought, okay, this is the type of leader I want to be. This is who I want to talk to. I'm going to start surrounding myself with a higher caliber of leadership. This is like, it's so much more than the incentives. And I've learned that it is so much more than the bottom line. Yes, we need money to fund our dreams, 100%, because I have home renovations that are not finished, but and it will come. It'll just take a little bit of time, and that's okay. And I'm all good with that. But I mean, I feel like deep down inside, more and more women need to know what they're actually capable of. We are all so capable. And if you can align with honesty and integrity and everything that you embody, and you can be that example as, you know, maybe I'm sure all of us are Christ followers here, but you know, there is that, and there is business. And I don't feel like they're separate things. I feel like everything is together. And it should be. And that is who you should reflect, at least in my opinion. And so, and that's who I want to be. And I want to do this. And yes, my husband works from home, and I've been very blessed to be at home with my kids. But you would never know that he's home. Like, he works a lot, a lot, a lot. And sometimes you feel like a single mom. I totally relate to that. And it's hard. And so what I would love is for options. If I quit, there are no options. I am all in because I want the options. I want the choices. I want the options for him to make a choice, whether he stays or whether he joins me or whether he just like, I don't know. He doesn't golf. So maybe he just goes and like plays basketball, but the choice is his. The choice is ours together. I just want options. And if I quit, there's no options. And so I will continue building this business with integrity and with honesty and just bringing in good women who can see their own potential too. Like Lena mentioned, so many people need this opportunity. So anyway, sorry, I went all preachy on you, but I am like, that was a very defining day. That was a very defining day. It really was. And I mean, just walking up to a diamond and having her just kind of say like, oh, it's so good to meet you. I'm going to follow you too. And I thought, oh, she's going to follow me. But anyway, it was cool. It was cool. But that was my very specific day in the basement ballroom, talking to Andrea Mitchell and just really learning about what leadership is kind of, and like a stern talking to myself, but Paige, what are you doing here? Like, get out of the incentives and start serving more, start serving in general. So there you go.
I couldn't love it more. I seriously couldn't. I feel like everybody here is feeling the same thing. And I remember that time, and I'm very grateful for that time because that's when you came and kind of joined our family here. And so I'm forever grateful for that because I'm forever grateful that you are here with us. This wouldn't be our Plexus family without Paige. It wouldn't. You are a very essential piece of what we have here. And I'm so grateful for that. And I love everything you said because yes, it is a whole package. It is a one whole package. Everything we are, who we are, our values, our integrity, the things that we stand on, it all matters. It all matters. It really does. And I love that so much. And I just cannot wait to watch you walk across that stage. I will be there right by the bottom of the stage, screaming my head off. And so, just so you know, this is going to happen and I cannot wait. I am so excited. So, time and date, let's plan this. I'll be there. Oh, yes. I am so grateful for all of you. Thank you for sharing your moments, your line in the sand. And I think the number one thing here is that they're all different. No two line in the sands look the same. And yours isn't going to look like somebody else's. It's going to be like yours. What your family's dreams are, what your desires are, what your goals are, what you really want. It's yours. And like Paige said, at the end of the day, how we get there is by servanthood, by serving others. It's by giving ourselves to others. And I love that. And you can fall in love with that because it's a really beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing. So thank you, ladies, all for sharing. I appreciate you all so much. Shelly, I'm going to start going to the gym and I will be stronger than you and you are not going to tackle me. Just saying. She just said in the comments that she will tackle me to get to the front. It's not happening. Don't underestimate me because when people underestimate me, they lose. Just saying. Love you. And my mother had a little bit that she wanted to share, so I'm going to hand it over to her now.
I can't follow up after that. Like, what am I gonna say now? We need to stop and then we'd all just need to blow our noses a little bit and wipe our face and say, that was an awesome call. Honestly, ladies, it really, really is. I'm just going to tie in a little bit of, we have this desire to help more people. And we know, so we've solidified here today, we know exactly what this opportunity does for families for generations. Let's be honest. My grandkids have a different life today because I was offered this opportunity. You know? And if we get truly to the nitty-gritty of that, then we understand it's really not about me at all. It is truly exactly what Paige said. It is servanthood. And servanthood can get kind of sucky at times. It's hard. It's serving. It's giving a lot of yourself, right? And so this month we've been doing this focus series, right? We're watching this video every day of how to get focused. I mean, like, all those action tips are fabulous. They can project you into that next rank all the more because you're doing the correct actions. But so often I look around and I see we're not talking to enough people. And that causes people to get discouraged. And it makes conversations hard, and it makes challenges hard. So we're challenging you guys this month, 2 new conversations every day. And I think we hear the most questions about, what does that mean? Like what is a new conversation? Like, have I never talked to this person before? Because people want to draw lines and they want to make it easier, because let's face it, they're finding it hard. They want to make it easier. And so they're looking for people, but they're like, okay, how can I narrow this down and make it simple? Guys, it's not always simple. Some of these actions are hard, and they're intended to be because you yourself are stretching. And I'm not going to go to that gym because, but I should probably. But let's just ask Barb. She's there all the time. I know lifting those heavy weights is hard. It's really hard. And you don't get there. You don't get to that muscle building in just going one time. Same thing for finding more people and talking to more people. It's a continuous thing that you develop over time, right? So the other day, you guys are going to laugh at this, and you can, because I'm bringing my artistic skills wide open today. The other day in our chat, we were talking about filling the funnel, and then I said something to John as he was sitting beside me. I said, sometimes I feel like people don't even know what a funnel is. And I didn't mean that in a mean way, but I meant that in someone else said here, I'm a visual learner. I meant that in a visually learning way of, do you know what your funnel is actually supposed to look like? That you're always adding new people and you're always dropping people out of the bottom. When they drop out of the bottom, they have joined you, and then you get to work with them. That's where the true serving actually begins, is when you have already sponsored them. That's where it starts, guys. It doesn't end there. It starts there. And so in my brain, I had this thing going, and I quickly scribbled together a funnel in order to explain how I wanted this thought to come across, right? And so, like I said, you can laugh. It's okay. I'm going to share this. It's really cool drawing, you know, see? Can you guys see that? Is it visible on your screens? Okay, perfect. Okay, so when we were talking about filling your funnel, this was largely just showing you the process of where people are in your conversations in order that you can drop them out of the bottom, and just the importance of having people in every line of the funnel. So if you look here, these are the people that you have never talked to. That is the wide world out there on top of the funnel, right? That is everybody who has never heard of Plexus before, everybody in the world, in your world, blah, blah, blah. That is just like your market in general. Everybody is up here. And then you go start those 2 new conversations, and you're like, hey, I think you're cool. I want to get to know you. I love making new friends. And then you pop them into the funnel. Now, this was one thing that I said before. these rules here do not always flow in order. Always be flexible. Some people are going to come in here and they're going to see your post about plexus and bam, they're going to drop out of the bottom. Some people are spontaneous. Now, let's listen to what Shelley said this morning about being patient, because she took 5 years. Let's not all be like Shelley, but some are. You can be like Shelley today, not like Shelley was back then, right? So some people you're just getting to know, and they're going to hang out on the top of your funnel for a very long time. I'm here 10 years. I still have those people that hang out at the top of the funnel that I have talked to about plexus. The answer is still no. And so they're hanging out at the top of my funnel. I never, ever say never. I always say when you join plexus, not if, when. Okay. So we get into this page of where we're relationship building, and you can bring in plexus together with relationship building. You can bring in follow-up and relationship building, and then you can follow up again, because why? Because the fortune is in the follow-up. And the follow-up can be a long process and it can be a short process. But here's where we want to make sure of, this is sometimes what happens. Okay, I've got some hot contacts. I've been doing some new reach outs. Now I'm talking to 5 people, and then I stop doing this. And then they fall over here. They get an event invite, and either they say no and they drop out of your funnel. They don't want to be in there anymore, or you close the deal, and then all of a sudden you're looking back up here and you're like, what's going on? Where do I find two new people a day? Does that mean that's someone I have never talked to? Then you're back to the square one, and you're on this treadmill that isn't stopping, and it becomes exhausting. And then you're like, I'm here to serve people. I just want to help more people. Honey, the world is big out there. Always make sure that you are dropping people into your funnel, because then you will have them throughout the whole process. And every time you get to a Thursday night where it's like, hey, it's event night, you're going to be like, hey, I talked to her a couple of weeks ago that I haven't follow up. I bet I could send her an invite. Because why? Because you've got a whole bunch of people in that place in your funnel, because you've been adding here and you've been talking here. You've been dribbling plexus on several of them, introducing them to them, and you're sharing stories, and now you're inviting them. Have you ever thought about joining plexus? Right? And so, I mean, like, those are pretty much the basics of my artistic skills. But the vision behind it is, you want to feel all the time when you sit down to do your work. We've had such good advice and tips and training this week on the focus and on the IPA and how you're going to bring these people into your business. Are we looking for business builders? Are you actually looking for like 4 people that you want to sit on the beach with in Maui? Like, have you thought about that? Like, who are you taking? Do those women know that they're going with you, even if they haven't joined yet? You can tell them that. You literally can tell them that. Say, hey, do you know that one day you're going to come to Maui with me? And that's because you're going to have earned it. It's not because I'm going to bring you as a guest. And so, cool story. I had a lady join in 2020, and she went Fast Start Gold. She did really good. Life happened. She kind of faded away for a bit. And then all of a sudden, gosh, what was it, like 3 months ago, she messaged me and she said, I never ever stopped following you. And I know that my team has gone away, but I'm coming back very soon. She joined last month. She's in probably about the hardest life battle right now that she could ever have been in. And do you know what she thought of? She thought of coming back to this. And I said to her, remember when I said to you in 2020 that I'm saving you a chair in Maui on the beach, and you're going to have earned it? It's still there. It is still there. And she said, keep it there, hun, I'm coming. People know what you share. People know that you believe in them. And if you fill your funnel daily, then you get to draw your line in the sand, like these ladies shared their stories today. So I felt a little bit fired up, because I felt like it's so important to speak our dreams. So important that we hear ourselves speak them, because you know why? Sometimes I've said something that I want to do, and in my brain it says, oh my goodness, how do you think you're going to get that done? This piece is always moving in here. Make sure that you say it loud enough that you drown out that. And make sure that you have enough people around you here that believe in you doing it, that you don't even hear this. And I love, Paige, that you went up to the diamonds and just, said, hey, I'm Paige. Like it's been very hard for me to have people put me on a pedestal. It's really honestly probably been the very hardest thing that I've had to work through as a diamond. I consider myself just a person, just like every one of you here. And so when people came up to me and they had this look of awe on their face, I didn't know how to handle that. I was like, can we please not do that? It was very much against my comfort zone. I didn't feel like I deserved treatment like that. I just wanted their own authentic, genuine self. That's all I wanted. I come with all of my flaws, and you can do exactly what I have done, right? And so when people come up to me and they say like, hey, Marge, I've been following you. I love your story. I want to do what you've done. I'm like, yes, let's do it, right? We can all do this, because that really, really shows that anyone can do this. So end of my soapbox there, but I was really fired up about sharing this today, because it really, really sets something into your brain that you know that you can do it. Thank you, ladies. Sheila, did you want to close?
Sure. Is there anything anybody would like to share before we close it off for tonight? Because that was so good. There was so much goodness packed into tonight. I am so grateful for you all that we get to learn and grow together, because I feel in most areas that that learning and growing is done very alone, and here we get to do it together, and that's something I'm very grateful for. So if nobody has anything they want to share, thank you all for being here. I hope you have a lovely Tuesday night, and until next week, see ya.